This is the moment you'll really find out if you built your For You page brick by brick, because this is a cross-examination of the Hunger Games and Hadestown. As a professional Hunger Games fan, I couldn't not notice these things when I saw this play for the first time. I know it is based on a Greek myth, a tragedy. There's a lot of ancient Greek and Roman elements into the Hunger Games series, but really I'm talking about storytelling and the archetypes within them. These are very different stories. I'm just gonna say all these things that I noticed that connected for me. At a very basic level, Katniss and Peeta, like their romance archetypes are Black Cat and Golden Retriever, very much in line with Eurydice and Orpheus. Eurydice is introduced as a hungry young girl. That is Katniss Everdeen. She is a survivor. She is not used to relying on anyone else for help. Peeta's not really a poor boy with a song that you could say he can use his words to motivate people and bring them together. But just seeing these characters enter on stage, Orpheus is wearing, it looks like he's in like a bakery cook uniform. Like he has an apron on, right? It's very Peeta at the bakery. And Eurydice is in boots and she's wearing black and a coat, and it's very Katniss coded. We have our villainous overlord Hades and President Snow. They have these empires built on the backs of struggling people who they do not treat well. In Hadestown, the workers, they're featured working in the mines. They also build other things. They build the wall and all that. They're in miners' uniforms. They're mining coal. Very District 12. Many people in 12 die working in the mines, or they die because of their work in the mines. People in Hadestown are like essentially dead working in these mines. The capital makes life hell for people in most of the districts. They are seen as subhuman, just exist to serve the capital, to make them stuff. A shared outlook in Hadestown about these workers. And they are trapped down there. And then the idea of a revolution is cooked up. Though ultimately in Hadestown, it doesn't really work out. But what was so important is that Orpheus tried to change things. I mean, he went down there to save his love, but he also inspired this movement and people were coming up after him. And I believe like since he turned back, that means that everyone went back, including the other workers. At first I thought maybe the workers got to stay and it was just Eurydice that was sent back. If you've seen the show many times, please share. I really like the idea that the workers got to stay even though Eurydice was sent back, because that feels a lot like what happens at the end of the Hunger Games. With Katniss and Orpheus both being these heroes on their hero's journey, what they had set out originally to do was to protect someone they loved. We think of Katniss with Prim. She volunteered for the games and then it just sent this whole snowball going until we get to a war and the revolution is won and all that. But though the revolution is successful, Katniss still ultimately loses Prim. Orpheus loses Eurydice. But what was so meaningful is he was acting out of love for someone else. It is community. It is coming together. It is inspiring to people around him in Hadestown. Like, you can rise up, lift your head up. I'm very obsessed with the Why We Build the Wall song in Hadestown. It is haunting. Being the face of the revolution is more pushed upon Katniss, but it's pushed upon her because the way that she naturally behaves. She is willing to go to great lengths to protect those that she loves. It brought the country together and inspired them. In both of these stories, it's these radical acts of love that really change things. And it bugs me so much when people say the Hunger Games isn't a love story. I hate when people talk about the love story. What Katniss has with Peeta is very important, but also it is a love story of family, of Katniss wanting to protect her sister. She is willing to die in her sister's place, volunteering for her in the games, which is not something that people do in Panem. At this point, it is very, very uncommon for anyone to volunteer not from a career district. Peeta had an older brother who could have volunteered for him for the games, but he doesn't. People in Panem had become resigned to this fate. If your sibling is called, they're gone forever. You don't volunteer for them. It's just not the way things are done. Katniss's willingness to sacrifice herself for her sister was radical, and it really shows how deeply the capital has fractured people in the country. It's districts versus the capital. It's districts versus each other in these games. And then even in the games, it's district versus someone else in your own district. And then we get to the reaping where this division extends within families. Siblings saving their own skin instead of their other siblings. Everyone's just trying to save themselves. Everyone's struggling so intensely. And that's what has become normal. In Hadestown, there's a songbirds and snakes mentioned. I know in the original myth, Eurydice, she dies because a snake bit her, but it was really exciting when they had this rattlesnake versus songbird moment. It was very Snow versus Lucy Gray or versus Katniss, but all these characters have elements of the snake and the songbird, being cunning and deceptive and fighting back as the snake and using the songbird element to bring people together. There's literal singing, of course, and that is like, it builds community. Snow can't have people in the district spending time writing songs. He needs them working 12 hours a day in the factory. In Hadestown, it takes Orpheus so long to finish this important important song because he is so busy trying to survive. He's struggling. They're in this bitterly cold storm and there's not enough food and everyone is suffering. And Hades lures Eurydice into this false sense of security. He promises her stable work and a roof over her head and food. And that's not the full story. She will forget who she is. It is just constantly working. You are not free. Very similar to the lie the capital tells its people. Like, we are so generous. The capital is so great. They give everyone these jobs. You will be paid money. It's just not enough. When you get married, the government gives you a house. Doesn't mean it's a nice house, doesn't have electricity or running water. I could go on and on about this, obviously, but I'd love to know if you've seen Hadestown and you're a Hunger Games fan. Please share your thoughts on like any parallels you noticed.